Kind of just a busy week. I parked out here in the boondocks. She was so sad. Hi, hello, welcome back to my channel. It is now Monday. I am actually on my lunch break right now. I'm about to head into the gym to get a little lunchtime workout in. And basically, if y'all missed my last vlog, what I was talking about is just how God has been convicting me to just be more active and healthy in general and just treating my body like the temple that it is. So with that being said, I am trying to get in at least 3 workouts per week on my lunch break. I've found that it's just easier for me to get it in on my lunch break than trying to find time after work. So that is why we are here, and I'm about to head on in. I think what my split is going to be, last week with it being my first week back in the gym, I kind of just did a little bit of whatever was feeling good for me at that time. But I do want to just add a little bit of structure to my workouts, so that way I could just feel better about what I'm doing. So I think right now, today, I'm going to go ahead and do a full legs workout. I also have been doing about 25 minutes of walking on the treadmill before I do any type of weights, just because I have a very sedentary job, and so I sit at my desk pretty much from 8 to 5 every day, and it's good to just get my body moving and get those steps in. So that is what I've been doing, and I will try to take you all along. It kind of just depends on how busy the gym is, if I'm able to get some good content, but I will get what I can for you all, and we will go from there. And then tonight, it's kind of just a busy week. I feel like I have all kinds of stuff going on this week, but tonight I have a women's dinner through my church. So my husband and I, we go to a small group, and some of the girls from that group do a monthly just like women's dinner time for just, you know, connecting and spending time with women, and, you know, just having a really good time to just kind of connect outside of church and outside of small group, and just have that good women's fellowship. So we will be doing that tonight. We're going to like an indoor food market, so that'll be fun. It's always one of those things where I feel like in the moment I do not want to like go and do this extra thing. I just want to go home and like hang out and chill with my husband. But every single time after I go to this monthly dinner, I always feel better, and I just feel just like my heart is full because I have a community of girls, of like-minded women around me. So that being said, I'm gonna stop blabbering. I'm gonna go get my workout done. Just pulled up to my women's dinner at the little indoor food market situation. This was quite an endeavor getting here. All of the roads all around this market were shut down for construction, so I just had to like literally make up my way in here, and luckily I was able to find my way around through back roads. But I just parked. That was also an endeavor. It's very busy, so I'm parked out here in the boondocks and gonna have to walk a little ways and my legs are exhausted from today's workout. So should be an adventure, but I'm excited I came. I was feeling very low energy after work, and I had to really remind myself that it's important to have community and fellowship with other like-minded women in the community, and just to be able to fill my cup in that way. So very excited to hang out with the girls and catch up. I feel like I haven't talked to y'all in quite a bit, so I figured I'd give you a few updates, a little check-in on how the day has been. I did go to that women's dinner last night with the girls, and we had a really good time. We just ended up catching up, and like I said, we see each other monthly, so it's always nice to just get caught up on what's going on in their lives and just everything. And we're all married and within like the same age group, which is really nice, so we have a lot in common and can kind of just chat about things that are going on in life. So that was really nice. The only drawback was I got some tacos for dinner, and they were like super greasy, and so then all night I just had like a stomach bug, so that was not super fun. I just felt kind of gross, and yeah, I didn't do too much last night afterwards. I wouldn't have done much anyway because I got home at like 8:30, but regardless, that's what my evening looked like. And then this morning you all saw me get ready for work, and it was an extremely busy work day, so I ended up not even taking my lunch and going to work out today. I like fully packed my workout bag and everything, and I ended up just deciding to work straight through lunch, and then I got off a little bit early. So it's now about 4:30, and I kind of like those days because I have the option to take a lunch and work till 5, or to just work straight through and leave at 4. So I typically prefer to take a lunch just because it breaks up the workday, but today I was like, you know what, I have so much going on, I'm just gonna work through and then I'll be done at 4. And I'm glad I did that because now it's all stormy outside and I can just enjoy a little cozy evening at home. So that's the updates. I totally forgot to put the meat out from the freezer this morning though, so I was planning to make sloppy joes for dinner since I'm home a little early and Mike won't get home until about 5:45. I threw the meat in the sink with some water, so hopefully it'll be thawed enough to do something with for dinner. Otherwise I'll just throw it in the microwave or something. I'm gonna make sloppy joes, and then hopefully I honestly just want to like cuddle up in bed and read something. I have been reading, so I took like a huge hiatus from reading for like probably like 3 or 4 months because I just wasn't really feeling anything. And the hard thing is I really like fantasy books, but I don't love the super like spicy romantasy. I just feel a lot of conviction towards that. So it's hard to find books that are in the fantasy realm that aren't like overly spicy for that genre. So I did start the Throne of Glass series last week, and I finished reading Assassin's Blade, which is technically like the prequel for the 7-book series. So I finished reading that and it was really good. It was actually like 4 novellas all put together into one book. So it was like 4 different short stories about the main character, or what I'm assuming is the main character for the entire series. So that was really fun. There's a little bit of hot tea on the internet about how to read the books, because the Assassin's Blade technically came out as like the 4th book, I want to say, in the series, but as the prequel. So you can either read it as the first book, or you can read it in the order that it came out as the author was releasing them. So I decided to read it first, and I feel like I liked it because it gave me some context going into the first book, but I will let y'all know how that goes. But it seems to be fantasy with like hints of romance, and after looking it up and kind of just seeing what the vibes were of the entire series, it seems to be pretty low on the spice level chart. So I feel good about that, and I'll keep y'all updated, but it's been pretty entertaining so far. I really like the main character. Sometimes I struggle with the female main characters just like making stupid decisions, but I understand that that's like part of their arc, and I'm sure she's going to, as she gets older, like learn from her mistakes. She was like 17 in this book, in these novellas that were being written about. So that's my initial thoughts on the series. If any of you all have read the Throne of Glass series, definitely let me know your thoughts in the comment section. I'd love to hear about it. And also, if you know of any fantasy book series that maybe have hints of romance but aren't like super spicy, I would love to hear more about those. That being said, I am going to go ahead and try to get started on dinner here pretty soon. Like I said, it's just going to be a super quiet night. I might even make some tea because that's the kind of weather that we're having. It's already been a very busy day. I took Jax to the vet this morning and he did so good. He is just like the sweetest little docile baby, and so he, you know, just sits there and let them do whatever needed to be done. But it was just so sad this morning because I was leaving and Nala, so Nala's 9 and she's our older dog, and then we have Jax and he's 3. And I did not realize how attached Nala has gotten to Jax because I was trying to take him to the vet this morning and she was just so upset about it. And as we were driving away, was literally sitting at the gate like howling. She was so sad, and my heart was breaking over it, and it was just terrible. And I can also tell that it's like getting close to my time of the month because I should not have been nearly as emotional about that as I was, but I was like tearing up in the car about it. Anyway, needless to say, we've been to the vet, spent roughly $1 million on all of his shots, but luckily most of the shots he got are good for 3 years, so we won't have to be spending that much money again for a little while. And I just got home not too long ago, and then I have a little bit until I need to be into work, and so I figured I'd just do some house stuff. I did the dishes that were in the sink, I unloaded the dishwasher, and I'm probably gonna go into our room and hang up some clothes that need to be hung up, and we'll see where I'm at that point. I told my job that I wasn't gonna be in until 10, and so I feel like, hey, I'm already home. I had to drop him off anyway. I might as well get some stuff done while I'm home before I have to go into the office. Today is gonna be kind of a busy day. I have to go run some errands for my job today because we're doing a little event in the office. So I also won't be getting home until probably after 6 because we have that event going on. So it actually is working out perfectly that I have this extra time because now I won't have to do it after work. finished cooking this delicious looking dinner. I haven't dove into it yet. I haven't dove into it yet because I'm waiting on Mike to get home from coaching. So I figured I'd just check in with the vlog. I think I'm gonna end it here actually and just share a few things that have been on my heart. As I was saying in the last vlog, I have been reading through Exodus, and there's been a couple things that have just been touching my heart and I wanted to share with the vlog. And right now I've been reading through the 10 plagues that God sends to Egypt when Pharaoh's heart is hardened. And something that I am just taking away from this is, you know, a lot of times we want to put ourselves in the shoes of Moses. A lot of times we want to put ourselves in the shoes of Moses and be like, you know, I am that person who's just never going to give up. I'm going to keep trying. I'm in God's favor, you know, and we put ourselves in Moses's shoes. But I think a lot of times we forget that we can often become Pharaoh. And what I mean by that is Jax is really just going off right now. So, but I think a lot of times we become like Pharaoh. And I think it's in these small ways, right? Because every single time Pharaoh is probably thinking like, oh, this isn't that big of a deal. Like, I'm just going to say no to Moses or whatever the situation might be. And I think we do that in our daily lives, whether it's not forgiving somebody for something that they've done to us, or not apologizing for wrongdoing, or simply just having a hardened heart towards someone or something. And over time that can build something much greater and can callous us from God in a much larger way. And the question I just feel like that has brought up for me and for any of us who are watching is, in what ways in our daily lives are we making a greater impact on our relationship with God and with Christ by not moving on these small things that could be hindering us, like just forgiving someone. I think, I forget where I heard this quote, but it was basically saying like how self-centered it is of us to not forgive someone, knowing that Christ forgave us for every sin that we were ever going to commit. And I think that really puts it in perspective. I know it can be hard in the moment. Believe me, I've had a lot of tests and trials even this week at work, and I'm really trying to work through them with God and learn to move on. What is the phrase? Let go and let God. So that's what we're gonna do. But I hope that you all enjoyed this vlog, and I will see you in the next one.